This episode of Sit Down with the Soup is with Deputy Superintendent of the Oxford School District, Marni Herrington. Welcome, Marni, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
We are going to take some time to dive into technology use inside of the classrooms in our time together today. It's been a hot topic, for quite some time in our families in the Oxford School District. Ever since we started utilizing technology and went one-to-one, like way back in 2014. So we've been doing this for a long, long time. But there's really some misconceptions, I think, that are out there that think that technology is just utilized from the time the first bell rings until the time at the end of the day that the school day ends. And I just wanted us to take some time to kind of clarify some things about that. You just want to give some insight from an elementary and a secondary perspective about, you're in classrooms, you're in buildings all of the time, of what you see inside of classrooms regarding the technology use.
Absolutely. So we do emphasize in our instructional model that teachers are face-to-face with students. Right? We know that the best instruction comes from the teachers, the excellent teachers we have in our district, and we want to emphasize that at any point of the day, all day that we can. We ask our teachers, and we do see that their instructional technology use is far less than I think what the perception is. Even more so though, we give our teachers some autonomy in understanding the developmental needs of their child and so of their children that they serve. And so we do see that our instructional technology use for our younger learners is extremely minimal, whereas it does increase as the students get older and are able to interact more with the technology or do more things from an instructional standpoint, whereas the majority of our foundational learning is still very much face-to-face with our teachers.
We recently gave that survey to our staff members and just asking them about the amount of time they spend on devices during the school day. And the results of that survey were honestly about what I expected. As Marni just said, our elementary schools, it was very minimal, and our secondary schools, it increased. I want to say that between 85 and 90% of our teachers at our elementary schools responded that it's literally less than 15, 20 minutes a day that students are on their devices, because they're doing things with their hands and, learning through play and all of those types of things as well. And when you get to the secondary level, that time does increase. Talk a little bit about why you think the time increases at secondary, whether it's the use of platforms or whatever you may think that might be.
I do think that when we are trying, like I said, to build those foundational skills, we do that through concrete manipulatives. We do that through, especially in our younger age, through play-based instruction. We do a lot of those things that, to be honest with you, are not as impactful on our devices, whereas we do see things as students get older that we can start to engage them in, whether that be discussion posts with their students or with their peers, or other things that would really help them generate ideas and learn from each other in that context, which is why I think we see it increase as it gets older. We do still, though, allow our older students a lot of times off of screens, once again, just for that face-to-face instruction, which we know is way more valuable than anything else.
And we also start the use of our learning management systems, like Schoology, later in secondary, which is where teachers really organize the content of the classes and all of those types of activities as well. And, from being a math teacher myself, technology in a lot of ways allows you to formatively assess students really quick and get immediate feedback. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we do have two learning management systems. Our elementary learning management system is Seesaw, and a lot of times we use Seesaw primarily to keep parents engaged in what's going on in the classroom. And so our parents have a parent Seesaw account, but we give our teachers the autonomy to determine how much of the time the student would actually post things on Seesaw. But like I said, mainly that's to keep parents engaged in, hey, let me show you what I learned in class today, or let me show you what I created in class today. And it's just a way to keep parents engaged in that. When we hit 6th grade, it's where we start with student Schoology accounts, and Schoology is our learning management system. But once again, even though we have Schoology in grades 6 through 12, we give teachers the autonomy to determine, they know their students best. And so we give teachers the autonomy to determine how much they put on Schoology and how often they use Schoology in their classrooms. And so some teachers feel more comfortable with it or use it, once again, like I said, to formatively assess. Their students get quick feedback that would drive their instruction for the next day, which is really what we want to see to individualize that instruction for our students.
Yeah. So I mentioned the amount of instructional time our teachers reported that they utilized technology in the elementary grades. I should also mention about the results from the secondary. Secondary teachers reported anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes inside of their classes. So again, technology is not being overly used. You know, and I want to address, because I was in the district, we were both in the district when we started utilizing technology in one-to-one way back in 2014. And I think we pushed it so hard because of the financial commitment that we made to all of those devices. We were like, you better use that device, right? That it sent out this misconception that school had turned into students sitting in front of devices all day long, and the teacher really didn't play as significant of a role in the educational process. You know, I do hate that it's taken us 11 years to sit down and say, hey, that's really not happening. But it was time to do that because it was a concern. Just because we know now how much technology, with the introduction of cell phones, social media, is really driving the day-to-day life of our students. So I'm really glad that we took this opportunity to address that this morning as well. Is there anything else you would like to add to the conversation this morning?
Yeah, I would just like to say that our teachers have done a fantastic job of really trying to emphasize with students that the technology is an instructional tool. It's not a time filler. And so teachers have had to, I think from the time we put the one-to-one in place, I think it's been an adjustment even for our teachers to once again engage students and do those things. And I think we have learned that a lot of times our students are more engaged and learn best when the devices are closed for that content delivery, but just using that device when it's appropriate, like I said, to formatively assess or to allow students to quickly access documents or links that might be helpful to instruction, and really figuring out how to best use that instruction to help our students learn has been a journey. But like I said, I'm glad that we've been able to sit down and talk about it because it has been something we need to talk about and clear up.
Right. And honestly, another thought just came to mind when you said that. Another way that we utilize technology that it is beneficial is in differentiation. Maybe intervening on skills that maybe students haven't mastered yet that are inside the classroom. But again, even during those times of intervention, there is not overuse of technology. Those are in small bits of time, throughout the school year to do that. So, Marni, I really appreciate you taking the time to come and visit today, and it's been a great visit, and I'm sure this information will be valuable to our families and our community. So thank you.
Great, thank you for having me.